Alexandra Eala's immediate reaction after defeating Venus Williams in the Auckland Classic women's doubles. Youngsters Alexandra Eala and Iva Jovic proved too strong for Venus Williams and Alina Svitolina at the Auckland Classic on Monday morning. Eala and Jovic, both 2025 Newcomer of the Year nominees, defeated Williams and Svitolina 7-6, 6-1 in New Zealand. Williams, who gave Eala advice before her maiden appearance at the US Open, will now look to bounce back in her singles contest against Poland's Magda Linette. Williams, 45, has been on the comeback trail since making her return to the WTA Tour at the 2025 Washington Open. Since then she has competed at the Cincinnati Open and US Open, and will play the 2026 Australian Open after receiving a wildcard. Alexandra Eala reflects on sharing the court with two pioneers of the sport after defeating Venus Williams and Alina Svitolina. Following the contest, Eala reflected on the experience of playing Williams and Svitolina. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for supporting me and Iva. I had such a great time on court, Eala said in an on-court interview with the WTA Tour. I think we had a lot of fun, and to start the year with such a moment like this, sharing the court with two pioneers of the sport and pioneers off the court as well, people I've looked up to since I was young. So I'm so happy to share this moment with you, Jovic, and all of you guys. Fans. Eala and Jovic, both ranked inside the WTA's top 60 singles players, will play either Asia Muhammad and Erin Routliffe or Jessica Malikova and Renata Zarazua in the second round. In the singles, Eala will play former Wimbledon semifinalist Donna Vekic, while Jovic is set to play Sara Bijlek in the second round after defeating Gabriela Knudsen. Svitolina, the top seed, will play Vera Gracheva. As mentioned previously, Williams will play fifth seed Magda Linette. Venus Williams has a winning record against Magda Linette. Williams and Linette contested their first WTA Tour-level match almost 10 years ago. The pair first met at the 2016 Fed Cup. In the third rubber between the USA and Poland, Williams defeated Linette 6-1, 6-2. Their next match, taking place at the 2016 Bank of the West Classic in Stanford, was a much closer affair. At the event, Williams defeated Linette 6-3, 6-7, 6-2. Euphoria at dawn, Alexandra Eala after the Auckland Classic triumph. The moment the final ball slipped just beyond Williams's reach, the scoreboard blinked its final verdict, 7-6, 6-1, Auckland, round 1. It was a result that would ripple across tennis circles, a quiet seismic shift where youth met experience and, for a fleeting but unforgettable moment, made the earth tremble. And then, just as fast, it was over, the match, the rallies, the points. Immediately after, everything slowed down for Alexandra Eala. In that vast tennis arena under the soft New Zealand sun, energy buzzed like electricity in the stands, but on the court, the world seemed to tilt just for her. The moment the scoreboard changed, Eala dropped her racket by her feet, eyes unblinking. She could still hear the crack of her own shots. The sudden hush from the crowd, just for a split second, was the loudest thing she ever heard. In that silence, meaning unfurled. That final forehand that clipped the baseline wasn't just a winner. It was history in motion. Youth toppling a legend. A rising star challenging a titan whose career was etched deep in tennis lore. Her heart, once racing, now found a curious calm. The crowd's applause washed over the court like warm rain. She could barely believe the scoreboard, but she felt it in her bones. Something extraordinary had just happened. Full-star life. Breath-catching, thoughts racing. For a heartbeat, she stood with her gaze locked on Venus Williams, who gave a respectful nod, a tiny acknowledgement laden with decades of legacy. Eala's breath came in little sharp breaths. Her mind flickered with flashes. Moments ago, I was nervous. Moments ago, I was just playing each point. Now, I beat Venus. Each breath felt like a discovery, a new sensation streaming into every fiber of her being. She looked at Jovic, her partner, and shared a quick, incredulous smile. No words yet, just the kind of expression that speaks more than speech ever could. It was a look that said, "Told you we belonged here." The first words. The on-court interviewer stepped forward. Her voice crackled through the mic. Eala took it, voice gentle but glowing. What was going through your mind at match point? Came the question. At first, she paused, not out of hesitation, but because for the first few seconds, she simply let the moment wash over her. The roar of the fans, the hum of electricity in her veins, the soft roar of her own heartbeat. Finally, she spoke. To start the year with such a moment like this, it's really special. Sharing the court with two pioneers of the sport, people I admired when I was young, it's amazing. Thank you so much for supporting me and Iva. GSP.ro. Her voice carried more than gratitude. It carried wonder, appreciation, and a kind of joyous disbelief. Shock and grace in equal measure. Outside the tennis world, the shock of the result made headlines. A surprise, a David versus Goliath, a stunning upset. But in that brief post-match moment, there was no spectacle, just a girl breathing deeply, savoring the seconds. She laughed softly, not a small laugh, but whole and unrestrained, when someone in the crowd cheered her name. She'd imagined moments like this, but not exactly like this. Not in reality. Not with Venus Williams across the net. It was a dream scene, but with live sound and heartbeats. She leaned slightly into the mic again. We had fun out there, that's all I can say. It was just tennis, but it became so much more. She pointed to her partner Jovic, and they shared a quick embrace, not extravagant, just honest. In that clasp, there was respect, relief, and an unspoken bond of partnership. They had done this together. First round at a major WTA event. Against veterans. And they had emerged victorious. Full star life. The crowd, the noise, the feeling of being seen. The applause grew, bigger now, louder now, and a smile broke on Eala's face that felt spontaneous and heartfelt. There was warmth in her eyes that matched that burst of noise. She lifted her racket once more, not in triumph, but in gratitude, a gesture that said thank you to every fan in the stands, and beyond. To Filipino fans cheering across oceans. To young girls watching tennis from far-flung corners. To the voices that lifted her up when setbacks felt heavier than wins. A moment of silence between breaths. And then, a grin. Reflection amidst joy. For a player still in her early 20s, this match, already historic, would become a chapter she'd return to again and again in her mind. But right now, she was present. She was smiling. She was thankful.